To understand what makes up the notes of a chord, you can visualize or audiate the notes of a scale. If we use the most common major scale, and we start on the bottom note as 1, and then ascend up the scale, we will hit every degree, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is actually 1 again, because it's an octave away from where you started. This interval or distance of an octave means that wherever you measure up an octave or down an octave, you get the same note name, E to E. Doesn't matter where. A flat to A flat, F to F. That's a distance of an octave. So the octave encompasses 8 notes, as in octagon or octopus. The smallest interval or distance between any two notes of the scale is called a semitone, or a half tone, or a half step. And here's another spot where it's only a half step, or semitone. The most common distance between any two notes of the scale is a tone. There's another one, toner. And from here to here is a tone, here to here is a tone, here to here is a tone, which is actually 2 semitones. Here is a ruler, or a jig, if you will, showing tone and semitone intervals. You can now see or audiate, no matter where you put this pattern of tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone, no matter where you put it, it will create a major scale. If we start here, this is a tone, this is a tone, this is a semitone, this is a tone, this is a tone, this is a tone, and semitone. If we were to put it on each of the 12 notes, we would have all 12 major scales. No matter which major scale or where we put it, the pattern is the same. And so are the distances or intervals between all the scale notes. If you look at the first, third, and fifth members of the major scale, see the intervals of 1 to 3 is 2 tones or steps, and from 3 to 5 is a tone and a half. This spacing of 2 steps and 1.5 steps, or 4 semitones and 3 semitones, creates a 3-note structure or triad called the major chord. This structure of 1, 3, 5, or this distance of 2 tones, and then here 1.5 tones, creates a major chord. 2 tones, or 4 semitones, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 3 semitones, 1, 2, 3. This distance of 2 tones, or 4 semitones, we call the major third. 1, 2, 3. Why do we call it a third? Major third. This structure of 1.5 tones, or 3 semitones, we call the minor third. So a major chord has a major chord, a major third on the bottom, and a minor third on the top. If this minor third was turned into a major third, we'd have the beginnings of another major chord, if you like. So before we move on, let's just sing the members of a major chord. But if you're singing this note, you've got to use the corresponding number. It's 1. If you're going to sing this note, it's 3, 5. So if you're singing 1, 5, 3, and mix it up, sing whichever notes back and forth, but use the number of the note you're singing. So the question is, where else in the scale does this major chord structure exist? For example, if we start on 2, what do you get? Well, you get from here to here is a tone and a half, and here to here is 2 tones. So you have a minor third on the bottom, major third on the top. That's not it. But now we're looking for other places where the major chord occurs. But this is a good opportunity to discover the minor chord. you realize that this chord on 2 is 1.5 on the bottom and 2 on the top. In other words, this triad is upside down to the major chord. It's got the 3 on the bottom and the 4 on the top. Or it's got the minor third on the bottom and the major third on top. So this triad or 3-note structure is a minor chord. So there you have it. A major chord and a minor chord. So let's keep singing. Let's sing the major chord. 1, 3, 5, 3, 1. Pick a note and sing it. Let's move up a step and we have a minor chord on 2, 4, 6, 4, 2. Pick a note but use the right number like 6 or 2 or 4. And let's go to 3 and we'll build a chord here. We get 3, 5, 7, 5, 3. Pick the note and sing it. Now what does it sound like? What does it feel like? It's a minor chord because if we did this, we'd see that, what does it feel like? It's got the minor third, the smaller third on the bottom, and the bigger third on the top. Let's keep going to 4, 6, 1, 6, 4. We have 4 to 6, 1, 6, 4. We have tone, tone, the major third on the bottom, and tone and a half, the minor third on top. So there's a major chord. Here's a major chord, minor, minor. Now we're on major. Let's move up another step. We get 5, 7, 2, 7, 5. Remember 2 is an octave higher than this 2, but we'll keep it in this form. 5, 7, 2, 7, 5. And there we have it. This is the bigger third, tone, tone. This is the smaller third, tone and a half. So this is major third and minor third. And we have another major chord. Remember the last one and the first one. We now have all the major chords. And this is what is referred to as the 1, 4, 5 chords. This is what is referred to as all you need is 3 chords and the truth. And you got 10,000 country songs. But to be fair, you got hundreds of thousands of folk songs around the world. Now, we know these 2 are minor chords. So we have major, minor, minor, major, major. And let's move up one. We're going to have the smaller third on the bottom and the bigger third on the top. So that's your minor chord. So there's a third minor. Minor, minor, and minor. And if we sang 6, 1, 3, 1, 6, we have a minor. Now, if we move up again in this key, we get neither, because we have a minor third here and a minor third here. So 2 stacked minor thirds in a row. We'll just call this the diminished chord and leave it for later. Okay, so we have 3 majors and we have 3 minors. Now that we know the similarities and the differences between major and minor, let's look at a practical application of how to use this to help us sing in tune, in a little concept I like to call, should I stay or should I go? Amazing what our minds remember. Nuisance or blessing? Okay, hang on to the rope. We've already seen that you can simply flatten the major third to a minor third, and the major chord becomes a minor chord, or vice versa. We have a major 1 chord, and we have a minor 6 chord. Let's just put that 6 chord down an octave. So here's our major 1 chord, and here's our minor 6 chord. This is in root position, meaning the root is the name of the chord, the bottom note is the name of the chord, C major. The bottom note, A, is the name of the chord, A minor. We can see again that both chords share 2 notes in common. the C major chord, bottom two notes, are the same as the A minor chord, top two notes. They have two members that belong to their related counterpart. The C major chord has C and E in common with its relative minor, A minor. Now let's put this G on top so it's no longer in root position. Same chord, same three notes, but the bottom note isn't the name of the chord. It's still called a C major chord because that's the notes, and we just put that down there. And now we see that this is the C chord with the G on the bottom. So when we move to the A minor, if you have three people singing this, it only requires that one person move, because we know that the C and the E stay exactly where they are. So now we have this way to sing. We keep the C and the E, and we only move the G up to an A. Now I've heard there's a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord. Now you don't really care for music, do ya? And so what do we have here? That's the one chord, that's the 6 minor. Here's the one chord, here's the 6 minor. So if you're singing these two in your little trio, and this going again is changing, you must stay the same, and you can lock these two chords exactly where they should be. Let's take our example of 1 major to 6 relative minor to apply some knowledge of the harmonic series tuning. We know that the equal temperament of the piano is perfectly out of tune, the same amount on every chord, no matter what, minor, major, or whatever. No matter what, where, or which, we know, or you will know, that that amount is 2% of a semitone too small on a perfect fifth, and 14% of a semitone too big on a major third. Now, if that isn't a paradigm shift already, to measure the piano's perfectly equal temperament by how far out of tune it's from the perfectly natural tuning, then it will be. Because you see, every book and diagram and image on Google, etc., will show the harmonic series as this. That says the fifth is 2 cents big, or plus 2. 2% of a semitone big. And that's very, very little, by the way, almost perfect. And the major third is 14 cents small, or minus 14. So if you're used to measuring the in-tuneness or intonation by comparing it to the piano instead of the other way around, then this is what we get. On our little example, we get, if we sang it, we would sing the C being 0, exactly where it is on the piano. We would sing the E, 14 cents too small, and we'd sing the G, 2 cents too big. So it's up here, it's put it 2 cents too high here. And we get minus 14, 0, and plus 2. Now, if we have to move this to an A, this minus 14 would be minus 14 here, but remember the fifth is too big, so that moves it down even more, 2 cents. Minus 16. This might have to be explained a little bit. We'll pause. Now that may not seem like much, but how much is the difference between in tune and out of tune? When a chord locks and rings, isn't it powerful and feels great? When it's out of tune, doesn't it feel unpleasant and unsettled? We could actually explore your descriptors for this comparison. It would help familiarize us with the visceral experience of harmonic intonation. When in tune happens, take a minute to describe how it feels, both emotionally and viscerally. Now, how does the knowledge directly help us? Should I stay or should I go? Already is essential knowledge. Compare this actual science to the familiar advice of, if you have the same note in the next chord, sing it slightly sharper. Mythbuster. Not only is this usually wrong, it will lead you in the wrong direction, because one, it's oblivious to how tonal stability actually works. And two, it implies that sharper is better because we usually go flat and it's all a great mystery. We know that C and E stay exactly the same, allowing the G to A to be exactly in tune at -16 cents. But we are constantly told that from 1 to 2 or Do to Re and 5 to 6 are big or bright or big steps. Stay on the top side of the note. Myth. Well, sometimes true that 1 to 2 is 4% big or 4% of a semitone, 4 cents sharp. But it is often 18 cents small or flat. And here we see that 5 to 6, G to A, is also 16 cents flat. And because you're coming from +2 to -16, that actually means this tone is 18 cents small, or a fifth of a semitone smaller. So what? So imagine if you're searching for this A on the sharp side instead of on the flat. And what if your friends on C and E accommodate and retune the chord perfectly above your sharp root? That puts their C and E very sharp, and not only solves nothing, it has unpinned the very anchors creating tonal stability. A momentary raise in pitch just shattered the foundation. Where do you think the rubble will end up?